Alrighty, we are rolling. This is Quamon Fowler. I guess I could switch and do this camera, but I like to get a. Uh oh, I forgot I had that camera hooked up. I was doing a session, uh, practice session the other day with the drummer, and we had that set up. So, wanted to just go up here and make sure that everything is reading right with my volume. Let me know. I guess I could put on my headphones to verify. But once again, I'm Quamon Fowler. Test. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, I'm Quamon Fowler. You know what? I guess I could keep these on to make it sound like I'm, in the studio officially, and I am. Radio. This makes you sound like you really official on the air. You can hear your voice and all that good stuff. So, what up? This is Quamon Fowler, and usually I do make these streams that I do on Tuesdays private. Excuse me, but this particular time I actually wanted to go live and share a little bit. And if you are wanting to know about some things that I do in terms of teaching, I actually have a site called Texas Tenor Music Academy, and that's where I do my live streams every Tuesday. There's a private Facebook group that I actually will go live, and I'll share it there, and then I'll upload the replay into my membership site. And so this is like I'm really pushing hard, pretty aggressively now. This is the second year of it. Actually, before that, it was called it was called Jazz Webshed. And so now I decided to change it to Texas Tenor Music Academy. And so I have a whole new website for that, and that's what I've been I've been creating uh, teaching material for that website. All right. And so I wanted to talk about working your business as a DIY musician. And DIY is do it yourself, you know. And so that is something that has been pretty prevalent since not many people or musicians are naming or relying on the big companies to do everything for them, like the record label. Now, now there was a time, especially even for me when I was younger, the whole dream was to um, have your own CDs and be on a record label. But we've heard countless stories, and I have friends and musicians that I knew who were part of record labels, and there wasn't a good deal. It's basically they give you a loan to do whatever you want, and then you end up never being able to pay that back. And you got the cross collateralization, where when you do another CD, basically anything that you would make still has to go back to pay off the debt from the first CD that you did. So we looked at it as kids. It's like, oh man, these guys are traveling, they're playing, we listen to their music, they're doing festivals and stuff like that. But all that stuff costs money. It costs money, and somebody has to foot the bill. But nowadays, when it comes to doing music, the business is different. The business is very different. But it's the same principle. You have people who who like a particular music and who want to purchase your music. Usually the outlets are through by way of the mobile device. I don't have my phone. I guess I left it. Oh no, here's my phone. It's either by through the phone, or internet, or in the car. And people still listening to radio, celestial radio. Um, and so a lot of times, musicians will want to get on the radio or in those circles, but I don't even really, mess around with that. I mean, I have my music in Pandora, which is like, streaming internet. Um, it's not, I guess, yeah, you can get it on the internet because you can go to your browser and pull up Pandora, but it's not internet radio. You got different types. You got what they call celestial radio, the traditional station that you have to go into, and you have a programmer playing everything, and you can check it out on FM or AM. And then you got satellite radio like XM, Sirius XM, and they have all their channels. But those are like big ones. You have the gatekeepers that you have to go through in order to get in there. So I don't think my stuff is not in that circle. Um, but you can get my music on Pandora, and I've been on some internet radio stations. There's so many little pockets of communities that have audiences and that play their music, or that have music, a playlist, and so it's so many different places where people can get connected into, or are used to connecting with in order to get their source of music. But now it's all about, if you are an artist or you are a musician, you have a band, and you have a following. Now it's all about, you being in control of your audience. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about having control over the outlets and the platforms like YouTube, or like you know sharing through your own website or even your own app. I have my own app that I put my music in, and it's not up on iTunes. This new CD that I have, where is it? So my new CD is called With You. And so this is only available through my app right now. You can't get it on iTunes, Spotify, and the different streaming services. Maybe later, but right now you have to stream it from my website. I'm sorry, through my app, and it's called the Quamon Fowler app, and that's available on Android or on iOS devices. But yeah, but you have to use creative ways to put out new content and connect with your audience to keep people engaged in the midst of all of the chaos. And so, it's a challenge, especially if you're doing it yourself. But, the thing about it is, you want to be able to grow as you grow out of certain stages. You have your introductory stage where you're trying to figure it out, because it's really I would say when you're in business, you're self-employed, usually you're doing all of the hats, the work of the business owner, the manager, and the technician. Now, each role is different. So the technician, initially you get good on your instrument. You get good with writing songs or playing, performing, to the point to where you can perform, and then that becomes your what you're known for, or your expertise as a performer. You get good, and then you play, and that's what you do at that stage. And that's the technician stage, where you're good technician at what you do. So the next stage is managing, and so usually a manager would manage the technicians, or the people who are doing the work, and so as a manager, even as a band leader, I have to manage, I have to schedule rehearsals, I have to find out if cats can do gigs, I have to be the one to pay everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I have to manage a band and the schedule, and negotiate and all of those things with different clients. As a matter of fact, I just reminded me of a contract, some paperwork I need to sign. So I need to put a note to myself to do that. We have a gig actually. It's a few months from now, but I definitely need to remember to send this contract. But stuff like that, managing is one of the roles that you end up doing. Let me put this right quick. Signed contract for a zoo in Houston. Yeah, we got a gig at the zoo in Houston, like in November. So I need to do that, and I'm glad I reminded myself of that. So anyway, you got that second level, which is being a manager, and then that um, the one that we always everybody dreams of getting to is being the business owner. So usually the business owner is the visionary. It's the one that dreams about the future and how the business will flourish, and how many cities or countries the business will be on. But he's not managing. You know, I mean, he doesn't have to manage because he's more so responsible of the direction of the company. And at that point, you got managers working under you, and you got employees, technicians that are actually doing the work that the managers are governing. And so the business owner just makes the calls. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. You know. So those are the different aspects, roles of business. And so when you are going through these growing pains, when you're in a business as a musician, I think one of the hardest things is to realize that it's not just about playing. Playing, they got this thing called the Pareto principle. It was the 80-20 rule. And so you can believe that the playing is the 20%, the small percentage. 80% of the work that I do, just to be honest with what I'm doing now, first of all, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm thankful that my wife allows for me to have to get in here and do work, like create these videos like this, to create the the teaching material for my students, and then teach lessons, and finally I might get to play a gig here and there. I got to keep up with time because I need to get back in a second. Okay, I'm good. So I'm good. So I'm gonna just be to 30 minutes, 12:30. But yeah, and so being a daddy, a husband, and then the career stuff can come up, the work that I have to do for my business. I'm learning a lot now about marketing, because it's one thing to be good at what you do, but it's another thing to not be found or not be able to connect with those people who really would benefit from your expertise and the stuff that you offer. Like, I've already put in the work, and I've spent years and years playing. So, I got the CDs. This is the easy part. Doing the music and getting it done, that's easy. Like, writing the music, most of my albums are all original music. Occasionally I'll put a standard or some type of cover on my albums, but yeah, that's because I focused a great deal on playing and developing my playing ability. I got a degree in music performance, master's degree, both undergrad and master's is in performance, and I just would practice all the time. I remember just being in college, and I have other friends and people who went to college with me when I was at Southern. They just remember me just practicing all the time by the lake. We had this lake in between the cafeteria, walking towards the music building. And so this was at Southern University, and I would be out there at night practicing, or I'd be at the music building at night practicing. And so, that's because I was just focused on just sounding better and being better and exploring new stuff. And so, really, the business, although I was thinking about the business back then, because the first year of school, when I went to study with my teacher at the time, Alvin Baptiste, he actually, after the first semester, he was like, it's time for you to do a CD. And so I was like, okay. So I went home that summer, 99, and I got some guys together. I've been writing some songs, and I recorded 6 songs and put it together, and created an album. My first experience, and it was nice. It's still available. I ended up using songs from that, and I took 3 songs from another session and re-released that album. It's called Quamon Fowler Re-Release. So I did that at 19 years old, and it was pretty fun because at the time that was when people were still really buying CDs real heavy. So I would go to gigs when I would play there and even at home, and I would sell a lot of my CDs, and so that was pretty exciting. Um, but going through those experiences, focusing on the music, playing, writing music, recording, that was like the rotation. But what happened was you had Napster, which hit that year, 99. And so it really affected the business to where people were getting music for free and sharing music, peer to peer sharing on their computer. So it was just in the consciousness of people now that, hey, I don't have to pay for music. I can just, go to this site, Napster, and then Kazaa, and then LimeWire, and these cats were just pirating, music, just illegally just getting music. And so it affected the business. But then Steve Jobs looked at what was going on, and he's like, well, why not just make it to where people can buy the music on the computer? And then he came out with the device, he came out with iTunes, and then he later came out with iPods. And so that's what really changed the whole game. And so people were just downloading music, purchasing it, and downloading it. And so, but then, of course, seeing that, that inspired us, the streaming, and then YouTube came out 2006, and people started putting the pirated music up there on YouTube, and then Spotify started. And so it just spun out of control. Everybody was just moving away from physical CDs, being the outlet for getting music. And so MP3s and digital formats really took the limelight, and the focus. So the sales dipped in terms of physical CDs. So it affected the business. But my point, though, is when you go through those changes as a musician, you got to figure out, okay, what to do? What do I have to do? And so one of the things I learned some years back is you have to capitalize. You have to take advantage, I would say, of or think about your influence as a musician or an artist. And so I had a following, people who liked me, who liked my music, and I had to learn about branding, and I had to learn about building a community around my brand and what I did. And that way, because people love you and support you, no matter what you put out, if it's good stuff, they know it's going to be, good quality stuff coming from you, so they'll purchase. But in order to do that, you have to have a platform or a way to capture people's data, or information. So here is a place where you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook. These are platforms by which you're able to connect with me, through a channel. It's just like TV, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't know certain actors or certain reporters if it wasn't for that station and that show that you saw them on. it was through that outlet. So if that outlet wasn't available, you wouldn't find out about them. Most of our communicating today with people a lot, in our generation, in this day and age, is through the internet, and it's through mobile devices. I mean, we do things offline in real life, but we don't communicate, or it's not as much in person as we do virtually, because you got Facebook and these social media platforms where people spend a lot of their time putting their focus into, because there's a business opportunity there. And so it's one of those things where you look at what's going on socially as a business person, and you think about, man, I need to shift my game. I need to shift my focus, because when I play gigs, if I'm leading with my own band, people still will buy CDs, because the type of music that I play, being jazz, it does appeal to an older age group, or people usually over the 40s, 50s, 60s and stuff. And so they still listen to CDs, and some have CD players in the house and have CD players in the car, so they'll still buy CDs. So, but the younger generation, they might be used to just going to iTunes or going to Spotify or going to YouTube. So you still have to have some balance and have some things in both places. I was going somewhere. I was going to talk about something, but I just lost my train of thought, I think. So okay, let me try to pull it back. So where I was going is, so when you have, oh, that's right. So I was talking about branding and having a following. So what I learned was, I use social media, these channels, in order to gain a following. And then once people like yourself get to the point where if you've gotten to know me, you like me, and you trust me, then I can better sell you something. But it's because you trust me. Certain brands and companies that I just like, whatever they put out, I'm going to get them, like Apple or something. Logitech has good webcams, so once people have purchased, or you've purchased from a certain company, you get what you call a relationship with them. You feel connected with that brand. And so whatever they put out, you're going to check it out, say, hey, do I want that? Do I want that? Do I want to get that? And so pretty much what I had to do is learn how to incorporate what I was learning through social media and, branding, from reading audiobooks or listening to audiobooks and reading books and following podcasts. And I started trying to do podcasts, and I did, a YouTube channel, Facebook page, and all of this is to keep people connected with me and what I'm doing. Because a lot of musicians, what I saw happen as these new technologies did sprout up, they ignored them and continued to do things the way that they were used to doing it. And so that's a problem. It's going to be a problem. Well, it is. Excuse me. It can be a problem for you, because then the learning curve can be so steep to where it's like, man, and then you feel too old. Like, I don't feel like, always being on social media. I don't feel like having to go live. I don't feel like having to stream and do all of that. And then you'll be kind of out of sync. You don't even understand the culture or understand how to do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to do it. And so I jumped in like in 2007, just putting videos up. And a lot of the videos were gigs, and I would sit and edit them in iMovie and just put them out. And, I look back on some of them and they're bad, but people like those. There's a lot of people, musicians who I'll meet, say, hey, I remember this video you did when you was here in D.C. playing with Young Lions, and I remember you did this lesson at your house on articulation. And those videos I think about, I was like, man, I go back and look at them, but they got like thousands of hits, and people are still sharing. So that's the thing. You never really know what'll connect with people, but people will follow you over the years and become well, they'll be your target audience. And so once you start putting out content or putting out products, you got an audience, and you've built an email list. So I have an email list of people too, and that's a way that I'm able to reach out to them and let them know what I got happening and what I have going on. So here lately, I got a few more minutes, but here lately, what I've been doing, of course, preparing for my CD release party, which actually is this Friday, and I'm going to try to share it with you. It's Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and the album is called With You, and it's available through my app, but you can order the copies on my website, QuamonFowler.com, and you can get them there. You'll see the link where you can click on it from there. You can get an autographed copy. I'll send you one. Also, someone actually ordered today, James Johnson, with League, Texas. So appreciate that if you're watching. Appreciate your support for ordering a flash drive. So I had someone order a flash drive. Also, Kevin Moore, shout out to you too, who ordered a flash drive, and Arnold Montgomery, who ordered a CD. I'm just thinking about people who ordered one in the last few days. So thank you for your support. I actually have that coming up this Friday, and definitely doing stuff like this to get the word out, because if I wouldn't have gone live and shared this with you, you wouldn't have known. Last year I released Forever. This is my CD, Forever. This is a good one. Really nice one. You see me on the back singing, so I'm doing the vocoder with this one with the EWI. So that's out. I'm gonna be having these at the CD release party, and then The Soul's Cry, released in 2007. Prevail, 2012. That's another one. This is a good one. So a lot of people like this one. I'm promoting as I'm doing this because I'm coming to a close. And my book, The Christian Musician: Learn What Your Real Gift Is and How to Succeed With and Beyond Your Music. This one is a release from a couple years ago. No, what is this? 2018. So 2017, I released this. Yeah, I always get it confused. Yeah, 2016. Yeah, 2016. So, but anyway, that book and my flash drive and all of that, I started, I create stuff as I'm inspired. That's what I wanted to say. And so once I've gotten all of these products, then I have to focus on marketing. So that's where I am now. And I wanted to do this lesson, this live stream, just to talk about all of these things, so you can just have some undergirding background behind what I'm doing, and get some insight on what it takes to do what I do as a working as an independent or do-it-yourself musician, working your business. So it's a challenge, but it's fun because it's your own business. It's yours. And so I have a few assistants and people who help me, and I've learned how to delegate my certain tasks that I've done initially to other people. And that's what you got to do. You got to learn how to replace yourself so you can focus on the thing that's the most value, that you'll get the most value out of. So you learn all of those things as you work, because it's only one of you, and once you become a specialist in this particular area that's valuable, you need to be working in that place, because that's what's drawing people. So all of the little busy work on the mechanical stuff that you need done just to keep flowing in your business, you can outsource that or delegate that to somebody else to do. But you got to be making more money, so you got to market your stuff and get more sales. So that's where I am now. I'm trying to get more sales, market, so that I can scale my business to make it a lot better. All right, so that's what's up. That's all I got time for, and I hope this was helpful. And I might leave it up. You can definitely go to, like I said, go to QuamonFowler.com. That's my personal page to check out what I have going. And if you are interested in learning some jazz lessons, getting jazz lessons, and deepening your skills and getting some training, something like this, music, marketing, and business, some of that I put in there, some tips for you. That's inside of Texas Tenor Music Academy. But what you do you go to Jazz Web Shed. I know it's a lot of websites, but I started with Jazz Web Shed. Go to Jazz Web Shed, put your name and email there, and you'll get some free training. And go through that. I've created some nice stuff for you to check out. And if you want to go deeper, you can join me and the crew, the rest of the community members in TexasTenorMusicAcademy.com. And I have a private Facebook group where I share live trainings that I do on Tuesdays like this. But this particular one I made open to everybody just to help promote my CD release that I got coming up this Friday. So a lot of stuff going on, but thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, comment to this video, and I will reply. And thank you for watching, and we will see you